and welcome to the Rest is Football question and answer episode. Just Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker, for this particular episode. But we'll endeavour to answer as many of your questions as we possibly can. And thank you once again for sending them in. Right, let's start with Nick. Hi guys, if I had to show a friend or family member, a player, past or present, to get them more interested into football, which player would you pick and which goal of theirs? Cheers, pint of Guinness on me. Oh, thank you very much, Nick.
Where do you live? We'll come and get it. I would guess he means worldwide and ever, not just Premier League, does he? I mean, how can you... R9, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo? I mean, pace, got everything, had everything, didn't he?
Wonderful player, wasn't he? I mean, his story between the World Cups of 98 and 2002, when obviously they got to the final, didn't they?
Yeah.
Played France, and he had that strange escapade.
It was so strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then eventually turned up and played in the game, but he wasn't himself. And then got injured really, really badly with a terrible knee injury. Interviewed him actually not long after he did it, and he was very doubtful as to whether he'd play again. He was out for 3.5 years.
Incredible, isn't it?
And then came back. Not only did he come back, won the World Cup with Brazil and scored 8 goals, I think, to win the Golden Boot, and scored the two goals in the final. What a special talent he was. And if he hadn't have had those serious injuries, who knows what kind of...
Yeah, I would have to say
career.
I was lucky enough to play against him, and I think he's as good as I've ever seen, to be honest. Even when you look at Messi and you look at Ronaldo, I know, and you said it was 3.5 years or whatever it was with his injuries. If it wasn't for those, my goodness, I mean, there's no doubt that his numbers would be very similar to what those boys were.
Absolutely.
I'd probably go. Good.
It won't surprise anyone to say Messi, because he's given me so much pleasure now. I think almost 2 decades of watching him.
Yeah,
the remarkable things he does in every game, even on his quiet days, he tends to do 3, 4, 5 things that you just go, how did he do that? You know, sometimes he'll get the ball crowded by 4 players and wriggle his way through somehow. His extraordinary vision as well. And go on.
There was no way either of us was ever going to say a defender or a midfielder or someone like that, was it?
No, absolutely not. Not a chance.
It was always going to be someone who scored a shed load of goals just to get you interested in, to get you into football.
Yeah, just to see the magic that comes from their boots. That leads us on actually quite nicely to Paul Thompson's question. Name a player that you each have played with that could have played any position on the pitch and not look out of position. Ooh. I think we could probably take goalkeeper out of that equation.
Yeah. Someone I played with who I'm pretty sure could have, sadly no longer with us, Gary Speed. Yeah. I think his athleticism, his ability to get up and down the pitch, I think he could have. He was unbelievable in the air. So he'd have been great. He was great at crosses coming into the box. So yeah, probably Gary Speed. Actually, I think he would have been superb all over, full back, centre half, whatever.
I'm trying to think of those utility players, those players that can play all position. I might go Gary Mabbott actually.
Yeah,
Gary Mabbott. I don't know about up front, but maybe he's still scored the odd goal coming forward. He played at central defence. He'd play at full-back. I've seen him play in midfield. Fantastic personality, great character. I mean, what he went through to play because he was a diabetic.
Yeah,
and,
amazing. James Milner as well. I played with James Milner, so he was like jack of all trades, wasn't he?
Yes.
Left, right, centre midfield, right back, left back. Yeah.
Good shout. Good shout.
James Milner.
A.D. Clark. Gary says he's a big fan of the new Champions League. Would you like to see a similar format for the Euros and World Cup? Would it work? Well, I don't think you could have a league of that many countries. It would take a long time, wouldn't it? Because you'd have to play, if you had 30, even only 32 countries, then you'd be a hell of a lot of matches they'd have to play, even if they only played 8 games each, and then you go to the knockout. It'd take about 3 months.
Yeah. It would take too long, wouldn't it? It's already going to be an extra week, the next World Cup, isn't it? So, yeah, I am a fan of it. I think it's definitely added a bit of interest, spice, a bit of intrigue. So, but it wouldn't work because you've got to play all those games within 4 or 5 weeks, haven't you? And I don't think they could do that.
No, I don't think it's actually feasible. But I
with
think
the
it has
countries
been
that adding in as well, Gaz.
It's been an enjoyable format, though, I think.
Yeah, it's worked.
I saw one journalist was quite critical of it, saying it's basically just a Super League. All the biggest teams and the best teams go through. But I'm not sure that's necessarily the case, because obviously we've got Manchester City facing Real Madrid, and one of those 2 teams will go out.
Yeah.
So that in itself suggests that it's you can get surprises in that competition. You don't know who you're going to get if you don't finish in that top 8. So
no, I'm happy with the format. I'm very happy with the format and how it's worked out.
Same. Joseph Miller. Hello, Messrs. Lineker, Shearer. Well, he says and Richards, but he's not here.
He's having a night off.
Yeah. Here's a spin on the start, bench, sell format. Managerial edition. I'm going for Pep Guardiola, Sir Alex Ferguson, and a classic legend, Johan Cruyff. All massively impactful managers, and I look forward to your answers. Good luck, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. We need a bit of this. Cool. Different managers, different eras.
Yeah, they're all different eras.
Probably the best 3 of their time. You'd have to put Ancelotti in there as well, because of his success rate. It's incredible. I played, of course, for Johan Cruyff, and even though I wouldn't say we didn't see eye to eye.
He wanted rid of you.
Exactly, and that in itself is probably reason to say he knew his stuff. Yeah. But in those days, you're only allowed 2 foreign players in Spain, and I think he came in and wanted his own and kind of messed me about by playing me on the wing all season to try and make me get the hump, so I'd have a hissy fit.
Was that you and Mark Hughes at the time, or was it?
No, Mark had gone. Mark only did really the first season.
Right, okay. Who was the other foreigner at the time that he was?
It was a. His name escapes me. That's annoying. He was a Portuguese centre half.
Oh, right.
At that particular point, but as a coach, honestly, and also in training, he was still the best player.
That's a problem for the players, yeah.
Especially, the Ronda, the little circle they do.
Yeah.
I mean, he was extraordinary in that. I mean, gee whiz, so good. But he had an incredible football brain. You could see that a lot of the football that we see today has come from, particularly at Barcelona, through the La Masia, create so many. I mean, obviously he won the first ever European Cup for Barcelona that they won. Now the Champions League. Terry Venables lost in the final on penalties, but he was a brilliant coach, no doubt about that. And then you've got, these are 3 managers from 3 different eras, but probably the best of their eras. Pep Guardiola, until this season. Extraordinary. But I mean, he's done it, won it all, and Sir Alex Ferguson, he's got so many trophies, and that's such a tough one, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even for having that amount of success at one particular football club, because you got to keep on evolving and keep on changing and getting rid of and bringing people in. You got to.
The thing is, I'm not sure it quite works with the start, bench, sell format, because you're not going to sell a manager and you don't start a manager. In fact, the one that you want is who you're going to put on the bench, because that's where they go, isn't it? I'm going to go Pep Guardiola, then Sir Alex, and because he played me out of position, messed me about, I'm going to sell or bomb
I thought you might have had. I thought you had Johan as number 3. Yeah, I'll flip it round and I'll put Sir Alex first and Pep, and then Johan. Yeah,
nice one. Michael Waring. Hi all, my question is for Gary. Oh, okay. The FA Cup semi-final of 1991 saw Spurs beat Arsenal 3-1. You finished the match with 2 goals and Gazza scored a wonderful long-range effort. Was this the best you've played in a derby match, and was Gazza's free kick one of the greatest free kicks you've witnessed whilst on the pitch? Well, Let's start with Gazza's free kick, because that's the only goal anyone remembers from that game, rather than my two. I mean, it was really early in the game. It must have been about 30 plus yards out. And Gazza was brilliant at bending his free kicks. And if you watch the footage, I'm going to claim credit for this free kick here.
Really?
No, I'm joking. But I do run up to Gazza and I'm thinking it's too far out to just bend it. So I said to Gazza, just smack it. Well, I think he did bend it, but he also smacked it right into the top
as well. Yeah.
Unbelievable free kick.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible, wasn't it? David
really
Seaman, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first ever semi-final, FA Cup semi-final at Wembley.
When he always used to remind David Seaman back in the England camp.
He would, wouldn't he, Gazzy?
Free kicks or penalties or whatever when we're doing shooting sessions, Sorry, I butted it on you.
He was a lucky keeper for me, David Seaman. I scored quite a lot. I think
you said that, it's amazing.
Scored a hat-trick against when he was at Birmingham, I think, and a few goals over the years. But my first goal in that game, which was Tottenham's second, was a kind of stabbed it in tap-in, typical goal. But the third one, I actually beat someone outside the box and then hit a thunderous shot that it was so powerful that it went straight through the hands of David Seaman. I'm exaggerating about the power of the shot. I'm just going to think about that goal now, just for a few minutes while we take a break. Welcome back to the Rest is Football question and answer episode. Welcome back to the Rest is Football question and answer episode, and with just Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker. Today, a question from Niall. If you could choose a new sponsor for the show, who you have never worked with before, who would it be? Ooh, blimey.
Well, as we've got Guinness, we have to go the other way and have Newcastle Brown Ale as well. If it's still going.
Yeah. Is that? I was going to ask you that. Is it?
Actually,
still
I'm not sure, because I remember the best. I think the best Newcastle kit when I signed in '96. It was that had that Newcastle Brown on. Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure it's still going. I very rarely see it. Maybe it is. We'll have to check.
We'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out. Yeah.
Well, we've had Walkers. I might go next, obviously, because I've got another model shoot coming up very soon, actually. Ooh. So I might ask them whether they fancy.
Do you actually pick your gear, or do they tell you what to wear?
It's a bit of both. There's a chap also called Gary, who's a stylist who's brilliant, puts together a load of stuff, and then I tell him which ones I'm not prepared to wear.
Then you go and strut your stuff.
But he's really good. He knows what I like. And they're actually really fun days. I always feel a bit of a knobhead prancing around, but anyway.
Go and choose the best grandad gear.
Yeah, exactly. Pensioner range. New pensioner range they're bringing out. Well, it leads us on actually to a question, because you mentioned the shirt sponsor. Because Scott Jones asks, what was your favourite front shirt sponsor for your favourite team? Now, your favourite team will be Newcastle, and you've already mentioned Newcastle.
I think that was my favourite one. Newcastle have just brought a retro top out, a one, and it's flying in the club shop, I'm told, in Newcastle. And so that would tell me that it's a lot of Newcastle fans' favourite top as well, and definitely mine, yeah.
When I was at Leicester, we had this kind of stripy kit, away one, which was like green and white, on parallel stripes. It was a bit slightly odd, but if I'm not mistaken, we had a beer one on there as well. I think it was Eind Coop. I hope I'm not wrong about that. I think I'm right. I'll get Harry to Google it to make sure, and then we can edit it out if I'm wrong, but I've got a feeling I was right. So we might as well stick with the beers. But obviously nothing's better than a Guinness. People love these start, bench, sell ones, Alan. We've got a couple more. Here's one for you. Lewandowski, Benzema, Suarez.
Whoa.
They're always difficult. No easy answers to these things.
Start, bench. So Lewandowski start.
Would you?
Yeah.
Look,
see his record, man. His record's off the charts. Yeah. Champions League as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Incredible. Suarez, Benzema.
Yeah, I might just go Suarez, then Lewandowski, and then Benzema, but I mean that seems bad. The amount of things that Benzema won, such good players. No right or wrong answers with these. I always think. Tom Watterson. How long can Manchester United maintain their status as one of the world's biggest clubs? They've endured over a decade of mediocrity. If this continues, will they still be seen as a big club? Nottingham Forest, with back-to-back European Cups in the 1980s, and Blackburn, once Premier League champions, are no longer considered big clubs. Could United face a similar fate?
He didn't add Leicester in there.
No, he didn't, did he? Maybe he considers them still to be a big club, but I don't think we've ever been considered a big club. Yeah, Manchester United is one of the giants, and they attract the attention that one of the giants would get, even though they're really struggling. But it is a club that's kind of going through a very difficult phase, isn't it? For quite a long time now. The ground's run down a little bit, the team's run down a little bit. They've gone through lots of managers, they've changed their ownership, they've tried all sorts of different things, and they just can't seem to get it right. I don't think it'll ever take away from the fact that they're a big club, because big clubs can go through difficult times. Thoughts?
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, they're two worldwide. They're huge, aren't they? So, no, they'll come back. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I guess it's just a matter of when, and it's not going to be anytime soon, because they've fallen so far behind, and they're going through huge change. And even these owners, as we've said many times, they've made a right cock up of it over the last 18 months or so in terms of decisions they've made, money they've ploughed in, money they've had to pay out, up in season ticket prices, all of those things. So. No, it'll take a long time, and we've said it. The manager probably didn't realise what he was getting himself into, as tough as it's going to be. But it's not happening anytime soon. But in terms of the size of the football club worldwide, that's not going to change.
No. Jason, how close do you think we are to the abolishing of VAR? With Norway opting to remove it completely from their leagues, do you see this happening in other leagues? For me, it is diluting the entertainment of football, which surely can only be a bad thing long term.
It's not going to happen. They've invested too much in it. I think it's staying with us, and we can only hope that it gets better and improves. And I always go back to my point. It's that if it was to be how they told us at the very beginning, then I think people would accept it, Not going to interfere and all of those things, only for the absolute howlers, then I do think it would be a lot better. But it's so involved now in almost everything. And the semi-automated offside can't come quick enough, because that's going to speed things up as well.
That will help.
It's not. They're not going to get rid of it. I think they're too invested in it.
Yeah, I think they're too far down the line with it now. I just think, you say about if they just stick with howlers, I think that therein lies the problem in many ways, because, howler to some people is not. And what do you define? Where's the line on how bad a howler it is, and the high bar, the low bar? I mean, I'm bored with saying it now, but it's got to come to an appeals system, and that drastically reduces the amount of interference that VAR will have, because it will be requested by captain stroke coach, whoever it is. But I think that's inevitable that will come at some point. It really has to, because at the moment it's just tedious. Really
What happens with your appeal system? And if you go back to that, the red card that was given to Arsenal against Wolves. What happens when you say, right, well, I'm appealing against that system? VAR, that challenge, I should say, or that tackle, or that decision. VAR backed the referee up and agreed with his decision. And you as a team, you've got that one appeal, or however many you've got, and you say, right, I'm appealing that decision.
Yeah, you appeal that decision, then it does go to VAR, and probably it's best that the referee also goes to a monitor, and then if he's made a quick error, and I honestly think that he would have gone to and probably changed his mind when he saw it in slow motion, they will still get things wrong. I mean, because, we can't all agree on every decision. That's impossible. But what it will do, it was massively reduce the amount of times that the game has to stop. You have to wait around because you limit the teams perhaps, I don't know, to one appeal a half. They'll have to be careful about what they appeal because if they waste it, they lose it for the rest of the half. If they're successful with their appeal, they keep it. I've not thought this through completely, but I think some sort of appeal system, like is the case in other sports, I think it will massively help them. And also it takes away that thing about the high bar and low bar. Basically, once you appeal, they decide whether it's a foul or it's not a foul, not whether is it enough of a foul to overturn the referee's decision. So I think it will help. There'll still be mistakes because there always will be mistakes in football matches with referees because it's a very difficult role. And I think it would help them out. I really do. But we shall see. I think it'll come eventually. Baz Duxbury. If somebody had never watched the three of you play, well, let's say the two of us play on this occasion, which game would you tell them to watch that showed your strengths as players? I was at Ewood Park, Alan scoring 2 past Brian Gunn in 92 and will never forget his lob.
I remember it well myself. I think we beat them 7, I think it was. And I'm pretty sure a certain Chris Sutton was in that Norwich team as well. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he was anyway. Yeah, I remember that game. Little chip over Gunny. I don't think it would be that game.
I thought you played with Chris Sutton. Was that before he joined?
I did. Yeah, I think that was the season before he joined. Yeah. Obviously didn't sign him on that performance, but
how was he to play with? You had a good partnership.
Very good. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, we had a great partnership. We understood each other's game, and we worked really well. We played in a great system though with wingers who were just prepared to get the ball into the box for the both of us. So he was great. What game would it have been?
I think mine would be the hat-trick in the Classico. Because obviously you're going to pick one of your best games. Yeah. But I think the goals that I scored were the way that I scored goals. So it was like absolutely gambling on a bit of space on the near post for the first one and then on the far post for the second goal. And then the third one was gambling on the defender missing it, or then he flicked back header and then I was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Yeah. And that was one of my strengths, one-on-one with the keeper. So I'd probably go that game, and it also gives me another chance to mention the fact that I scored a hat-trick in the Classic. So I've bought you a bit of time.
Get it out there. Why
Come on
not?
Now.
Oh, goodness me.
Holland, England?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that one. I was thinking of the Newcastle one as well. Maybe semi-final against Spurs at Old Trafford. But yeah, maybe England, Holland at Wembley. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, let's finish on this one. It's another one now.
Oh.
Rashik Sharif. Start, bench, sell.
Oh.
Interesting on this. Di Canio, Zola, Letizier.
Well, I played with Letizier at Southampton, as you know, but I think I'd have to say Zola out of those three was just ridiculously good. So I would go Zola, Letizier, and sell Di Canio. Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree with that. 3 incredibly talented players, and mavericks in many ways, super skillful. Yeah. I mean, Matt Letizier's goals reel is a bit tasty, isn't it? Really just special.
Just a bit.
But Gianfranco Zola was a gorgeous footballer as well.
He was magnificent. He was Zola. I think. He was just absolutely superb. He was.
Well, agreeing with you, Alan, is a lovely way to finish. So that's it for this week's question answer episode. We'll see you again on Friday. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.